Are we?
Yeah, you missed the intro entirely.
Wow. Yeah, look, that timer's going. I can see it now. I was too busy playing with the numbers over there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 369 of Tenno Clock. 369 episodes, and we still haven't come up with a good system for starting these things. So I'm going to sit here and keep talking in one unbelievably long sentence. I am MDRLOz. This is Xeno, and we're here to talk about Warframe. Woo, 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 woo.
And?
Emblems?
Yeah, duh.
First thing we do every week because
you never do that. Okay, fine. So
sometimes I do. I'd go like, and this is Eddie Getty, and you go hi. You know,
I waved.
Can't see that. It's like over
there. I'm there. You can see me.
That's all the way over here. Like useless.
Right, emblems are on screen.
Emblems. Oh wow, birds. Composition of the birds.
Yeah.
What's yours say?
Impact.
And what's it say below that?
Impact Force.
Impact Force. What's my one say?
Ashen Phoenix.
Impact Force versus Ashen Phoenix.
I will say that
LOZ
is actually a lot better, but the problem is that it was on, I believe it was on an ember, and there was fire coming off the ember, which like obscures the sort of like
bit of it.
Yeah.
The other shoulder, they had that weird one shoulder thing which has like a cage, which the emblem is inside the bloody cage. I despise that thing.
Yeah.
I don't care. I can't really tell which is better. You pick.
If I say tie, will you cry?
No.
Tie. There we go.
There we go.
It's smooth. But if you wish to win a 75 platinum for your platform of choice, go into the description below. Well, you'll see a link to the polls for this week's episode and this week's emblems, and you can choose which emblem you like, fill in the polls, and you'll be entered into a chance of winning 75 platinum for your platform of choice.
Hurrah!
Yeah. I would say it's like X week when I've honestly lost count of when the poll goes, so the results go to DE, so I'll have to work that out again.
Wasn't there something you were going to get me to do with the platinum?
Was there?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh well. Let us move on to Dojo Dusting.
Right, so Dojo Dusting. Xeno is a giant fucking fail yet again. He forgot to get the Patreon, the supporter questions up on Discord, asking people to put in their answers and things. So apologies to everyone for that. I will honestly, I need to find something that schedules it, because I am failing so hard at remembering to do all this stuff. And I owe everyone an apology. I'm really sorry. Do genuinely feel bad for it. What do we have anything else Dojo Dusting wise?
I would say I don't know if it's just Warframe in general being a bit of a slump at the moment. I know Destiny's come out, maybe that's affected it. But the views on the video, obviously, views are going down, but comments are also going down. So please, just a normal shout out to the people is, I promise you, every comment that will be put on a video is definitely read. So I look forward to reading to them. But they've gone down in recent weeks. So if you do want to just comment below, you can at least know that at least I will read it, and I'll try and bring a few of them up in the video. So there's that. And in the description below, I suppose you've got the platinum thing. Do we have any other competitions going at the moment?
No, unfortunately, was it Neja Prime giveaway?
Yeah, is that finished?
Yeah, that will finish by now.
Okay, I think that's it for Dojo Dusting then. I can't really think of anything else. Con's still next year.
Yep.
It's just a bit of a lull period, isn't it?
Yep. I do feel though that interest in Warframe content has decreased significantly. Again, you could be right. It could be Destiny 2 that's doing it. It could be.
Well, we've also got World of Warcraft's got an expansion soon.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk's got an expansion. The game is coming out soon. Yeah. Call of Duty's just released a game.
Actually, I do wonder how many of our players
season for releasing games. So,
yeah, I do wonder how many people are actually playing the Call of Duty game. I just can't stand it. But anyway, moving on. So Go straight into the topics?
Yep.
Cool. So, our topic for this week is pure CC immunity is a bad system and enemies should have decaying or reduced effectiveness instead. Right. Okay. So the bullet points. So apparently this was literally it. There was no body in the topic whatsoever. It was just the title, nothing else. So our lovely topic finder Tobiah has put in some padding for us. The topic is enemies should not have consistent complete immunity. Enemies should instead have a gradually reducing effectiveness of abilities types against them. Do you want to say your thing first?
My thing?
Well, we were talking about it just before we started. Your lack of understanding of what's going on anymore with Warframe.
Just want to change it slightly. So this is a Reddit post, which is literally no body of text.
Yeah.
It's just says monthly reminder that pure CC immunity is a bad system. Enemies should have decaying or reduced effectiveness instead.
Yeah.
So monthly reminder that pure CC immunity is a bad system and enemies should have decaying or reduced effectiveness instead. So what I was talking about, we actually took forever to start recording on this week, and I was complaining about the damage system, but I don't know. It comes down to also me just not really engaging with it anymore. I feel there's too much in the system. I suppose it comes to this. So, CC. What enemies are they talking about? Pure CC? Is this things like the ones on Demos, like the weird spiny boy?
The spiny boy, a spiny lad,
boy,
spiny
yeah.
Bug Spinoson. It's I think immune to viral and things like that, and it's typically the damage types that people go for because the rework to damage procs and stuff, it still came out not 100%, with I believe viral and heat as a combination being the best. And I think the big thing with the CC was certain things, like the CC immunity that these enemies give or have, they completely change how players have to play in things. A part of me is on board for the whole players have to play in a different way. You have to change it up in things. But I think a big problem I have with the system is it doesn't clearly indicate what players are going through and things like that. It doesn't clearly show, oh, you should be doing this instead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. It doesn't indicate. That's exactly the sort of thing I was saying about when beforehand. There's something that's Warframe's always required you to use wikis and things to understand things. It's always been the case, but I feel it's gotten to such a degree, it's just ridiculous now. That if you go into Steel Path and you use rubbish damage mods and rubbish damage builds and setups, there's no real way or feedback from the game to tell you what that you're using is wrong and then what you should be doing instead.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for this. But the thing is, though, they say pure CC immunity is a bad system. I don't think they're entirely right with that. Because if you, let's say, Val bans Bastille. If you can make every enemy in the game affected by that, and the time to kill, which is an important factor on enemies, is less than 10 seconds, then literally the game never has you, as you say, changing up what you're going to do, and all enemies will just be lifted into the air and you just shoot them and they die. So...
Wait. Pure CC immunity. No, I'm thinking of status procs. What the hell are they referring to? CC immune enemies?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Enemies you can't...
Like Molecular Prime and shit like that.
That's not really CC.
No, Molecular Prime
control.
is a CC. Because you
It's
slow them. Yeah,
that's not CC. That's not crowd controlling. You're not controlling the crowd, I suppose, but very limited, very low.
Yeah.
They mean like Bastille. Bastille, you put down Bastille, all the enemies in the area are now not doing anything.
You know what? I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, so we're back. Loz and I just spent the last 5-10 minutes going over just trying to understand what it is that they're talking about with CC immunity, and it's really difficult because no one in the replies, as far correct me if I'm wrong, Loz. No one in the replies outwardly says what enemies are CC immune. And
Well, literally, we're having a flick through this, so they might do. It's finding quite hard, but I haven't gone through every single reply here, and I'm reading it through a VR headset. It's not the clearest of things, but it's not like they're listing. Oh yeah, I really hate the fact they don't mention. I haven't seen nullifiers been mentioned. I mean, if I had a proper keyboard at hand, I would just search for named mobs, but I can't see. I haven't seen anything like that. I saw people talking about Grenier, but I I don't know. Anyone who's listening, please let me know if I'm completely wrong on this. But from what I can tell, there is only a handful of mobs which are CC immune. Bosses shouldn't be CCable. That's for one fact, because it's a boss fight. I don't know which mobs. I know nullifiers won't be able to CC because they're nullifiers. I assume there's a handful of mobs. Fair enough. Maybe I need to go play the game a lot more to find all these mobs and use some more CC. But the only CC I really use is Radial Blind. I suppose I play Excalibur too much. And I find that as effective as I want it to be. It affects mobs. There we go. Job done. If there are mobs which are immune to it, okay, I have to deal with those. But there was some really interesting points in here. But I think in general, there should there be the key point here? Should there be mobs which are immune to the CC of Warframes? Yes, because the Warframe CC can sometimes be insanely powerful. This can freeze a mob. It can lift it into the air and make it completely flailing its limbs and doing nothing. It can stick it on a tentacle and have it flying around. It can have it. It can freeze it literally in time and space.
Yeah.
If every mob in the game you're able to do that too, what is the difference between the mobs?
Yeah, it's so. I'm glad we actually took a 5-second or a quick break to investigate this. Like I even tried googling what enemies in Warframe are CC immune, and I found a bunch of posts that just say, oh, CC immunity is bad and stuff like this. But it wasn't until I found another Reddit post saying, what is the point of CC if every single high level content is completely immune to it? So I'm going to zoom in briefly, and I'm going to read this.
What should happen with high level enemies? And this is something that goes back to years ago when I was talking about Warframe. Is that I really hated when you go through the solar system, instead of them coming up with specialized mobs for the different planets that progress as you go through the solar system, you literally fight this mostly. There's a very, very, very limited number, but for the most part, you're fighting the same faction at the start to the end, right? The Grenier don't start out with just lancers, and then you see some guys with shields, and then the guys with the super shields come later, and they work in stages, and thus they gain immunity as time goes by. It's just, here's some Grenier, there's some Grenier, here's the low level, here's the high level. Basically no difference. Or the same for the Corpus. And what should happen if this was a normal video game is as you're progressing through the solar system, you see the use of elite special troops coming along that act differently, that your effects don't affect all of them in the same way. So when people are saying about CC, when you CC a pack of mobs, there should be the mini boss mobs in there that are immune and those you have to deal with. Okay, you've CC'd the pack of 10 Lancers, but the one Grenier Elite in the middle with a chainsaw or something, right, you have to deal with him. You can keep the CC up while you deal with him. That's the balance or the sort of thing I would expect to see, but you don't. Warframe, I'm doing the void at level 10, I'm doing the void at level 80. I just CC everything. So what's the difference?
So just to completely so for start, if we're horrendously wrong, please take the time.
Please call us out. We're not
pause the video. Well, don't pause the video just yet. But write in the comments, tell us what we're getting in the wrong end of the stick of, because I literally thought it was status chance immunity, not CC immunity.
The first reply on this Reddit thread does say
pause it, tell us that we're wrong, and then skip on to the graphs, which I think is the next session.
I mean, because we like to have we normally do 10 o'clock where we take the take of the topic without going into depth beforehand. I haven't had the chance to read this entire Reddit thread, but then again, normally we'd have more to go on the actual topic, but the actual topic is just a title. Nothing against Tobiah, it's an interesting pick. It's a thing that we don't really address much, so it's nothing against that. That's fine. But
I want to read out.
I would like to have a proper read through.
So yeah, if you're thinking we're talking shit out of our ass, pause it, skip ahead, put the comments
Please
in.
do. We like being called out.
Right, but I'm going to read out what this is talking about with regards to CC immunity, and then I think we will continue on with our points and feelings. So the topic I'm looking at right now, this Reddit post, is what is the point in CC if every single high-level content is completely immune to it? I main Limbo. As much as I love the frame, I fail to bring it whenever new content is released because every single time high-level content is released, it is totally immune to CC. Exploiter Orb, Wolf, and more recently Disruption. Of all of these would be great ways for a CC frames to show their worth, that they are just as valid as pure DPS. But no! Let's make all of these completely immune to CC. Seriously, DE, what the hell? You don't need to make enemies like the Demolist immune to CC. Resistance would be enough. Status, for example, could slow their movement, like Molecular Prime. Sleep effects could last shorter, so you make things easier for an ally as they pump the enemy full of bullets. So, what are you doing?
Sorry, I pushed my stick and I'm just trying to get myself back in position, but I find it hard to find
if this is the sort of thing we're talking about, like, I do feel that we need to have enemies that are immune to CC. Bosses,
well, let's take those examples they've given. They've given us some good examples to go with there. Right, the Demolist. The Demolist, you stick the thing on the pedestal, the Demolist spawns. The Demolist goal will then run at the target, and its goal is to blow it up. Ignoring the lore elements of this, which I will... But the goal is the mob is going to get there and blow it up. Your goal is to kill the mob before it reaches that point. You can tell when the mob is coming because there's a sound effect which you can head in directions, and when you detect it, you can head to it and it gets loud. You just go, really good way of letting sound let you find the mob. Right, then what can you do with the mob? Can you CC it? No. It's going to try and... you may distract it a little bit, but main point is it's just going to go ham for that target. If you could CC it, what would happen? Well, where would the challenge be? It would just... You would just CC it, hold it in the air with Valband's Bastille, and then anytime it came down, maybe it would get an extra 2 feet, and you just chuck another Bastille.
Yeah.
And it comes down, it maybe gets half a foot, and it's Bastilled again. Where's the challenge of that game mode? Where's the threat of the time constraint of you trying to kill that thing before it gets to the target? Is Bastille still useful in that situation? Well, yes, because there's going to be other mobs spawning. So by putting Bastille down, you can ignore the other mobs so that you can focus on the Demolist. Yeah. So it's not that CC has no role in this situation. It has a very important role. It takes away the other mobs, distracts parts, the hordes of mobs, so you can focus on your target. So what's the problem with CC? Same for Limbo. Limbo could do the same thing on that, and you just got the one target to deal with. If you could CC that, there's no game mode. There's just killing more mobs, and there's no mob. Oh, you've got to kill that mob now, and it'll never get anywhere. It'll never achieve. It's not a threat. It's not a time constraint. You've got to stop before it gets to blowing up. Like, okay, the wolf. The wolf is a mini boss.
Yeah.
Oh, you can CC him. Right. Okay, he's held in the air until I shoot him and kill him.
Yeah.
Where's the threat?
Yeah.
I just... Oh, God. And what was the other one? Exploiter?
Yeah,
Exploiter?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you could Bastille Exploiter Orb?
One boss that really...
Or mind control it.
Actually, not just that, but if you could... what's it called? CC the coolant spiders. Like, that again, it would trivialize the whole boss mission.
I don't know if you can. You might be able to.
No. But if you could, I hope you can't. But if you could, it would completely trivialize it, and that's what
I'm not sure if it would, because more come from 4 different angles. So you could CC in one direction, but unless you could continuously CC all directions all the time, I'm not sure.
True, but with things like Nova's bubble goes really bloody far, and again, you could just get like, I don't know, 4 cataclysms, put them, stack them around the exploiter, and then the coolant things just can't get near the exploiter orb and just constantly freeze in place. I mean, what's it called? If smart top men could easily work out better ways of doing this than us.
But and again, if it came to exploiter, what I would do is if I was to really make it like a proper boss fight, I would make a normal mode in which you could CC the additional things, and then one of the factors of making a harder version of the boss fight, because I don't get why they don't do this, because you've already made the boss fight, you just stick in another version, is you give CC to those mobs, CC immunity to those mobs, or in fact you could have 3 tiers. First tier, they can be CC'd. Second tier, you can CC them once, but then they gain resistance to all types of CCs, so you can get a small reprieve. And on the third tier, the ultimate tier, they became CC immune.
Yep. To be honest, a big part of this is reminding me so much of the Kayla Dathame fight. When she was reworked and we have that weird arena fight at the end of Rathum, honestly, I just got so tired and exhausted by not frosts, but limbos. Because a limbo would put up a bubble and everyone just stayed in the bubble and they were completely immune to the bombardment. And I was just like, what the fuck is the point? I think that when a manic goes, you know how a manic you have to like hit 3 times before you kill it. Yeah. Right. So I think when a manic goes immune, just before it goes into its invisibility mode, it should become like it should scrub off all its CCs, because the amount of time you lose to this manic. Like, if you molecular prime a manic and it goes into its invisibility phase, you're like, cool, I'll be here for the next half hour waiting for that thing to come back. You know, I am not for taking away CC immunity. I do think that, they could potentially bring in some diminishing returns on stuff, but like, fucking boss fights. God,
boss fights. I'm shocked by boss fights, not one person saying that.
You know, like, wait, there is no boss in World of Warcraft that I can think of that you can stun. That you can't, like, sleep or
hell
stun.
No, hell no. And if there is, it'll be a special part of the boss fight that, like, you stun it, but you have to stun it so that you have to go do some mechanic, like, while it's stunned, you go pick up, it knocks armor plates off of it, and then you put the armor plates into furnaces that you melt down to eventually submerge the boss in lava or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you can use a CC on a bot. Oh, no, Deciduous, really great example. It actually can get it's a big pile of ooze in the Anchorage raid, and you have to hit it with frost, which can slow it, because it actually, by hitting it with too much frost, it turns itself into an ice cube that then you can smash, and then you can attack. You have to kill off the small bits of it before it reforms. So that actually is affected by the CC, but the CC is the mechanic of the fight.
Right. Yeah.
Great example.
I'm just like,
but most bosses, you hit them with a frostbolt, they don't get frostbolt slowed, but that one does.
So
it does get affected by them.
I'm really shocked by this. Like, game not easy enough. Need more easy.
Well, the fact that the actual topic itself is literally just, reminder that we need to get rid of these things from the game. Right, okay. 90% of the play of Warframe is killing hordes of enemies, yeah? I mean, I don't particularly like the term horde shooter, but Warframe kind of is. You're just killing wave after wave of mobs, right?
Yeah.
So, if there was no CCable mobs in there, there was no CC immune mobs, where's the challenge?
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
And then you could say, like, but there's challenge because they level up and things. Okay, where's the variety?
I think a lot of the problem is that these vocal minorities, they don't want challenge. They just want win. I
think it is.
Yeah. Right.
There's vocal people who don't. They just want their power fantasy.
Yeah.
Anything which intrudes upon that power fantasy is just the enemy that they just want to go in, and they want to be able to. The people who spam 4 or whatever, and they just want to go through it, and they always want to see bajillions of damage done, all the red crits, and they just killed all the mobs, and aren't they the best specialist thing ever?
Yeah, I'm against that. Should we move on to the replies?
Well, we've only been talking about this for a few minutes, really.
Well, no, I mean, we're 25 minutes.
Okay, it's a very short episode. Right, we'll go for the actual replies that
we haven't.
We don't want topic,
and we've also got the graphs, the community responses. We normally don't
finish the topic to like 10 minutes past an hour.
Not last week's episode.
Okay. Anyway, so we'll go for the replies that Tobiah has curated for us. First of all, we'll have a look through some of these. So, right, I don't even care if enemies get affected in the intended way by CC abilities. I just want them to be somewhat stunned by the ability duration, so I stop getting effed over by enemies that weren't affected by a CC ability at all when playing non-tanky frames. Okay.
What?
So they don't like it when they use, and let's say they're playing Nyx and there is 30 enemies around them and they push chaos, which should make all the enemies randomly shoot each other. I think it's chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? They don't like it if there is one mob in that 30 pile of mobs which is completely immune to the CC and goes, whatever, I'm not paying any attention to that. I'm just going to keep attacking the Tenno. Because then they get effed over by that one enemy that wasn't affected by their CC. Yeah.
QQ.
On non-tanky frames. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, you can move around. You have the tanky. You know, but if it's not tanky or Warframe's at least agile, you could bounce around, hide behind a pillar, deal with that one mob, do a ground slam to knock it down. Even mobs that aren't CC, you can still ground slam most mobs. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel that, and again, I will hold my hands up if we are completely out of base on this and we just don't understand. Please let us know, because we're not experts on everything. We're just normal people like you. But to me, it just feels like I can't play the game as a bajillion amazing thing. Right, next reply. I apologize if that sounds a bit mean, but that's just how it feels, right? And as I say, call us out, please.
Actually, no, to be fair, just to go off the back of what you're saying, I do actually feel that trivializing this content is actually damaging to Warframe, because where's the sense of progression? Like, I'm glad that God, I'm not 100% sure what was released with the Deimos Arcana, but I really hope that the Steel Path editions were introduced. I can't say that they were, only because I've not read the patch notes. I've not booted the game.
I've logged in and I've seen you. There is a you've gotten your you get a message from Teshin and some Steel Essence.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad that they've been introduced and everything, and because like we were talking about this, you know, I think we spent like nearly an hour talking before we decided to start recording the episode about how we get so confused as to what is the way to build anything, because I could build a weapon completely badly, just utter trash. I'm still murderizing absolutely everything because I've got top end mods on the weapon and everything.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but I'm excited for the chance of spending more time in Steel Path, because if I'm doing it wrong, I'll see that by my performance being shit.
Yeah.
Yeah? So,
yeah.
You know, that I don't like trivializing everything. I think it's, what's the point? It's damaging. It's bad.
Yeah. Right, let's go to the next reply.
Yep.
Players have too much numerical and mechanical power in both raw DPS and CC abilities. Before we can nerf enemies, we have to nerf players as well. Players go batshit when even the slightest nerf occurs, so we're stuck in an impasse.
Agreed.
Now, I agree a lot with this person. This person here is kind of the feeling I have. I remember when they buffed. What did they nerf? No, they buffed the whole solar system. I suppose that's what Steel Path is. Steel Path is supposed to be, a buff to the solar system without affecting the basic solar system. But yeah, I can't get behind the premise of the original poster here, that they want to see no CC immune mobs.
Yep.
It's a careful balance. I do appreciate seeing it from their point of view. And this is one of the problems. I remember years ago when the game was newer, I feel it was easier because damage frames, there wasn't that many damage mods, and guns were pretty fairly balanced versus abilities of the AoE frames. Yeah, Nova and that was still, you know, used a lot, and Banshee Soundquake, but guns weren't that far off. And that CC was still balanced with that it was seen as a effective thing. Oh yes, a bit of CC. You always wanted a Valban or an Nova in the group setup because you wanted a bit of that CC, or an Nyx, because they brought a good element to it that let the damage work. And then over time, slowly, you know, talking about Second Dream, Plains of Eidolon, War Within, CC just disappeared because it was just all about doing a bajillion damage in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
When red crits, I think red crits were when it started to go wrong. And then it becomes, shall we take that fourth frame who brings us a bit of CC when we could just bring another nuke frame or part of the nuke strategy or someone buffing the nuke frame, and just damage just took over. So yeah, damage is the issue. So I feel that you should nerf players. But to be honest, I would say one of the ways you sensibly nerf players is you put a mob in which is immune to CC. Okay. This is any Souls game. We have hard-hitting, chonky bosses with clearly telegraphed attacks and movement pattern to balance it out. You have to learn their fight and dance around them to win. This is Warframe. Bosses can hit you for 2 hours and nothing will happen. To balance this out, you need to go through 2 half-an-hour invulnerability phases just for an hour-long animation of them reaching their final invulnerability phase and then dying instantly in one shot. Both games have a roll button with iframes. Go figure. A bit lost on this one.
So basically, they're saying that with Souls games, you have to learn the fight. You have to learn what the boss mechanics are. So, like, a boss might periodically scream and drive you insane. So you have to wear a special. So you have to drink a special potion to make sure that your insanity doesn't get too close to the edge. Likewise, when it goes into another phase, it might start doing thorns damage, so you can't be near it too much. With Warframe, you don't get any of that. It's a case of you can sneeze in a general direction of an enemy boss, and it will just instantly die. Think Tilragor, right? Tilragor has 3 phases. But when you get him to phase 3, right, you can literally slap him and he's dead. Right?
Yeah.
So that is what they're referring to here, is the fact that there's... But
this issue is nothing to do with CC. That's to do with damage.
No,
this is something I've always...
This is referring to the immunity, right?
Yeah,
in order to make the fight viable, you have to have the immunity phases.
But that's because,
actually,
right? So why doesn't instead of suggesting, that the Warframe sucks, it's like, well, why doesn't the Dark Souls game also have invulnerability phases? And that's because, and this is something I've been saying for years, it's much easier for the game. In fact, I think it's pretty 100% sure the developers of the Dark Souls games will know at boss boss J in the sequence of bosses A to Z, let's say, they will know you have access to weapons 1 to 72, all the variants they are, and this means you will be able to output X much damage, and they can balance the fight around that. Yeah, I'm saying, so I try to choose a middle number. I know there's going to be a little variation, there's going to be optional weapons and things, but it's going to be a lot smaller scale what you can bring into the fight player power-wise. Now compare that to Warframe. What does a player bring into a fight player power-wise? You've got your primary, your secondary, your melee weapon, your arc gun, all with an insane amounts of variation on mods, which can go anything from, oh lol lol lol, you've got warm coat on your you've got ammo drum in all, I don't know, in rubbish, just got silenced ammo drums.
You've got nothing. Just say it's empty.
Mods of uselessness, compared to a player that can bring super Riven hyper combination with crazy arcanes and Warframe abilities on top of it. And then, so on top of those 4 weapons, then you've got the Warframe, then you've got the Operator, then you've now got the Necromech. I mentioned arcanes, and then arcanes on the weapons, and I mentioned those as well. So what does a player N who comes to the boss fight bring to it? You have no idea. What are players bringing into the boss fight?
I think one thing...
There's no way to assess it.
I think there's one thing to take note of with games like World of Warcraft, with games like Souls, Diablo, whatever. The players have one set of stats, right? So it is your character stats. Much like a game of Dungeons and Dragons, you have your character stats. Your damage is part of your character stats. Your chance to hit is part of your character stats. But with Warframe, the weapons have their own stats, right? They're independent of the player character. And, if you were to take a Distresser and you put it on a Frost, an Excalibur, a Nova, a Nezha, pick whatever Warframe you want, right? The Distresser is still going to do the same amount of damage, right? So each weapon is in itself a character,
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, just to back up what Loz is saying, it just makes it way too complicated to work out how all of this stuff is going to work.
Yeah. Compare it to the what's the Ishil? ISIL? The boss fight we just done, the new one.
Nihil?
Nihil. In that fight, the player's output of damage is fixed.
Yeah. So, you don't have your weapons, you don't have your Warframe abilities, none of that stuff. It's just how good is your aim at throwing a glass thought bubble.
Right, but there is still something the player does bring into it, because you've got your Warframe, which you could, in theory, I think maybe you could affect your slide time, your run speed, your air time while floating.
Yep.
You could adjust these factors. So you can still bring something in, but your damage output is fixed in that fight. And so they know exactly, they can tailor the boss fight, which I did feel it was an okay boss fight. It was perfectly fine. I just don't think it was anything blindingly special. Yep. It was decent, but I did enjoy it a lot more in some ways, because the game knows exactly what you're going to bring in, and it's balanced around that.
Yeah,
whereas Killer the Therm or Exploiter or Profit Taker, what is the player bringing? It could be anything.
I don't think it's fair for you to say Exploiter, because Exploiter is a separate. Profit Taker, definitely, because that's down to the player damage. Even bloody damage types.
Oh, no, you're right. I was just basically listing both orbs. Yeah, no, sorry. Exploiter is a much fairer fight, because of the way you control the phases.
Yeah.
You control what's going on. It's more about your control of the situation rather than your output of damage. Whereas Profit Taker is literally even just use this damage. Oh, God. Now use this gun to do damage. Like, you have to use this.
Yeah. So
I've watched videos of people taking down Profit Taker in like 3 minutes, and I just go, what? What? Why?
How?
What?
Yeah.
How? What? I don't understand the game in that way. When it comes to that level, I literally do not understand the. Right. Anyway, should we move on to the next one?
Yep.
They do have reduced effectiveness, 100% reduced.
Lol.
Meanwhile, Grineer on Rhino's 2 million iron skin. While I do agree the same applies to Warframes, some frames are near invincible and have CC immunity.
Yeah, like, Atlas just standing on the floor.
Yeah, what? I don't get it. Reminder that making bosses having 90% plus damage reduction with only one element that can be used to damage unfairly promotes only a handful of frames and one type of weapons. Why not simply inflate boss HP by 200 times and remove damage reductions? Then slowly make abilities work on boss and see how it goes. Speaking about Eidolons, of course.
No.
Well,
what? No. This is dumb. Removing. First off, like, the multiplier of 90% versus 200 times. Good job. Right? Second, it's like. This is glazing over the issue. It's just like. Remember my continuous argument. Always take corrosive projection. Right? Because 0% armor means they die faster. Yeah?
Yeah.
But people are like, no, but I don't see my higher damage numbers. I'm not taking corrosive projection. I was like, no. It doesn't matter if you're doing higher damage numbers. They are taking more damage. Right? They are dying significantly faster.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got an alarm going off. I'm trying to turn it off. Stop alarm. Stop.
I've turned those alarms off for Fridays.
Yep. That's what I should do as well. But I'm a numpty. Anyway, so... Shit, what was I even saying? The alarm's just completely thrown me off.
90% damage reduction, 200 times health.
Removing the damage reduction, it just doesn't work. Like, the numbers... Like... You can't just... I don't know. No, this is stupid.
Topic
This
has
is fucking
broken Xeno, everyone.
yeah.
Xeno is
fucking,
broken by
yeah.
topic.
No, but like this is dumb. This is like, oh yeah, let's just fucking remove the damage reduction and just give them more health. You'll get the same fucking effect.
Yeah.
It's just instead you'll be able to actually kill them faster than everyone else.
Yeah, this is why Exploiter is actually probably their best boss fight, because the progression of the boss is not done by burn through the meat shield of the boss. I suppose it is towards the end when finally but even
you
then,
say probably Loz, but I think you'll find by community vote is. We'll talk about it in the graphs.
Okay. But I do feel that was the best boss fight that felt like I was interacting with the mob, I was controlling the progression through it. And the worst fight is definitely Vayhek, where literally it's like a peekaboo pop-up whack-a-mole, and you have to do that, and you are limited the amount of damage you can do, and it even promotes high damage 1 second hit, high damage per sec shot weapons, just so you can burn through the HP pool that is purely arbitrary by time of peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo.
But Sargus Rock has the same thing.
Yes, but he doesn't. His isn't. No, he doesn't.
Doesn't he?
His are open for a certain amount of time, not like I swear I'm not sure. From my feeling of it, Vayhek, when he takes X much damage, it'll shut, but you can do X plus Y in that time, so you can do more than the amount it says to shut. But if he, once you do that, whereas Sargus Rock, you can destroy the sections one by one each time they open. Like, I think it's open for like 5 or 6 seconds, and in that time you can completely destroy each section, which is much fairer, because you might miss them or whatever, but when they're open, there's nothing stopping you finishing that section of each one is a stage of the boss, you see. Whereas Vayhek there is the health bar, and it's like, oh, open, and then once you've done it'll shut after time, or after he takes. I'm not sure actually it will be after time. I bet he'll probably keep it open if you don't shoot him. But as soon as he takes like a fixed amount of damage to drag the fight out, it shuts it again. He becomes invincible. It's so stupid. That is the worst boss fight they've ever put in the game.
I completely agree with you with Vayhek. I can't comment on Saga Strike because I haven't got to him in Steel Path, so I can't really remember if it's as soon as he goes into that fire thing, he will just keep going until it's destroyed, or what. So
I swear his sections will open, and they'll open, let's say, for 10 seconds, and then they'll shut, and you have to wait for it to open again. But as soon as one opens, it doesn't go, oh, it's taken that health spot has taken half its damage, invincible.
Yeah.
I swear that as soon as the section opens, it's then you. It's then all over to you. You can destroy it in one go.
Which is better.
And you could say like that they're exactly the same, because though Saga Strike has multiple sections, they're just the same thing. It's like, no, but you are progressing. You don't ever.
Yeah, I know.
It does feel like progression.
I know. Not Neff. Mutilist Alad V. He had this whole thing about, oh no. As soon as I take a single point of damage, go back into the immunity. I'm like,
immunity phases are so stupid. But then meat shields are not the way to go.
Wrong. Immunity, because what's its name? Exploiter has immunity phases, but they're done right.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, the difference with Saga Strike, I know it is a minor difference, but it makes a difference. It does feel thing. As you are changing up where you're shooting each time.
Yeah.
It's so minor, but it makes it feel like it's a difference. Whereas Vayhek, you are literally shooting the same spot, and yes, the health bar is going down, but you're just doing the same thing. And you're gating on that same bloody thing. Whereas in Saga Rocket, sometimes it's quite hard to shoot him in the back or to shoot him in the shoulder because you have to shoot from above. If you're at a bad time or there's a mob annoying, it affects which way you're going. You got to change it up. Oh, I've now got to sneak around the back of him. It is changing the gameplay. Whereas Vayhek is the same thing until he's done.
Yeah.
Oh, enough money about that. Anyway, not sure if it's a good solution, because as people pointed out, you will just need to spam more. I really love more ways to complete a mission, so to speak. But at this point, we as players are so powerful that there is no middle ground. At least I don't see it. If the enemy is at least partially CC vulnerable, it's going to get stun locked, / disarmed to death, probably in seconds. This is a good thing to put on a test server for a couple of months and see for ourselves, in my opinion. I agree with him on the complete mission. I mean, this is why we had the making mobs the other week, right? Or I wanted all of my mobs to be you could just ignore them, but they'd still have an effect on you. Because it's different ways of interacting with the mobs, it's different ways of interacting with the environment. And then I wanted it that, if you remember, my other thing with my mobs was or at least two of them, there was different ways to kill them, or you had to kill them doing something other than just point and shoot.
Yeah.
No, it was that's why. And I see more ways to complete the mission. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Like, I mean, thus far, if memory serves, like the only two missions. Well, one of them's more of an event, but the only two missions that come to mind where you have multiple ways to complete it is one is the. Wait, is that even still in the game? So there was a mission.
Yeah.
Where you woke up, sort of thing, and you're running around, and you're sort of like fighting for colonists, and you had the choice of either doing an additional objectives like a sabotage to destroy.
Oh, that was a part of For's Prize. I assume it's still in. If For's Prize is still there.
Yeah, I hope it still is. Or you could just leave. Yeah.
Yeah, I love how that was like the inkling of maybe we should move towards optional objectives and this being a cool thing, and then it never ever comes back and just Lotus berates you if you don't do it. If you do it, and then it's like that never gets brought up again and never got clearly thought of as an important thing to do in missions.
But the alternative one is the Gustrag 3. You know, but I mean, that's more event based than an actual mission type. You don't have a choice there. It's just like, oh, I'm getting invaded by the Gustrag 3. I can either leave now or fight them. You know, but I think that we need more ways to complete missions. So if you got a spy and you fluff the spy, you go, oh well, just go blow up this reactor and then the end. You know, do you know what I mean?
Well, true, but you also want long term to you want to fundamentally make the game around such things so that they have a meaning. You don't want it just to be throwing objectives at you and feel like, oh yeah, now it's making me do this, or it makes me do this instead. Because otherwise it is literally it just going, do that, do that. And there's no meaning behind it. Whereas the thing with the example from the Vor's Prize example is that it almost felt like it was affecting the narrative. You were making a player choice. You could leave and be safe right away, or you could. It was making out that it was risky, but you could save the colonists. So you were having an effect on the lore. If they just made it in the normal missions that if you fail 3 on a spy, you fail 3, it says, "Oh, blow up the reactor." It'd be like, well, okay, I'll do that, and it just makes the game mode a little bit expanded. It's not long term having an impact.
I think there's actually
well, I was about to say, I think a much better example is putting more sub things in a mission. They did a really good job on the new Corpus missions, on the new Corpus ships, because you go into the mission and you've got an objective that say capture, and you just got to go through and kill a mob or exterminate, all as normal. But then when you're going through the mission, you could go put a coin in the thing to go do the I can't remember what it's called.
The hand.
In the hand, yeah, to go into the pseudo void. I can't remember what it's called now.
Void.
Or Grand Void, that's the one. And then also during the mission, you could, if you want, use any coins you've got up to free people. And then later in the mission, if you pay around and pay attention, a guy will spawn that can give you more coins. Now, I'm not saying this is perfect, but you see how it's interesting that there are sub-objectives and there are sub-options. You can ignore the people and not stick coins in them to free the Solaris United people. You can ignore the Grand and Void on this run. Or one person can go do the Grand and Void where other people do this. Or you can all attack the jailer, or one person can do not the treasurer, sorry. Or everyone can, or you can just ignore him and he'll despawn. You know, there's things going on in a mission.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not asking for I'm not also asking for 100 different things every mission, but at least that gives depth to the environment.
But I don't see how that could work for a boss fight though, because you wouldn't want to have like
this is them saying, but this was the point from the player of not sure if it's a good solution because the people pointed out you'll need to spam more. What I would really love to see are more ways to complete the mission, so to speak.
Okay.
But so I mean, no, it's nothing to do with boss fights.
Okay.
It's to do with doing more things in the mission, like you were saying of the Vor one.
Yeah.
I feel you got bored halfway through my talk,
No,
and
no,
then
no,
just
no, no,
your
no.
brain wrote to the boss
No, I
fight.
feel
Like,
that
this ain't got to do boss fight.
No, I feel that what this person is saying, like, you know, you should be able to do missions in different ways. Like, you know, so...
Yeah, that's why I do boss fights. Why did you bring up boss fights?
Because that's where the immunity stuff is. That's where all the CC stuff is.
Yeah, your brain gave up and defaulted to do a boss fight, didn't it?
But that's where all the
Halfway through
CC
my
stuff
rant.
is.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well, no, I also think that...
The same thing happens to me sometimes. Don't worry.
Okay, fine. Last one?
Sometimes I'm like, what was Drew talking about?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like that.
Anyway, the last point was here. The way Dark Souls did it was cool. Each enemy has a bar that must be filled and subjects them to the condition only when it fills. So I assume that means, like, to poison a boss, you have to, like, keep poisoning it until it beats its poison immunity.
Oh! Yeah, no, I think that's... Yes, that is exactly it. Because the way it affects you is also the way it affects the enemies. So if you get burned, then... oh, wait, no. Do they do that, though? I'm not quite sure if they do.
That's
because...
like how Remnant does it, isn't it? Like, you get... Sometimes the mobs expose you to spores, and there's, like, a bar, and then when that bar fills up, you then get a spore debuff.
That's how it works for you. Right? Because I'm pretty sure... Like, I ended up watching the entirety of Sekiro on Playframe on the YouTube. But I don't remember the bosses actually having... did the bosses... No, I don't remember the bosses actually having any of these effects bars actually slowly build up like they did for the player. So, like, if you stand in poison, the bar will slowly fill up. Like, you're getting poisoned, you're getting poisoned, you're getting poisoned, until it hits the top, and then you have been poisoned. And then it will slowly tick down as you're taking damage over time. I don't think that happens for the enemies. You know? So,
but I was going to say, if that is the way it works for bosses, that's like I was suggesting having enemies with a break gauge.
Yeah,
that's what you want, so that it goes into a different state, or you know, or for a time, or permanently once you do something to it. You know.
Yeah.
But still, yeah.
I think a break gauge would go a long way
for certain enemies. I mean, yeah, it's a bit like you could say the Nox have a bit of a break gauge because you can eventually smash their helmet. That's the kind of thing it should be. You know. Nox, I feel, were a good addition to the game. I really think they should have. That was their one stepping a toe into the pool of how to do proper mini boss style things, and they just shooed away from it instead of going, oh yeah, we're onto something here. Because when a Nox turns up, like, you can see all the other bloody Grineer Lancers, but the Nox would be like, and you have to deal with it as a Nox. Like, yeah, exactly.
Just like
but if you just do it like anything else and not pay attention, or just whack it with a melee weapon, it doesn't do as much as it would to the Lancers.
Yep.
But if you smash that helmet, there you go. You can, do stuff.
Cool. Should we move on?
That's it. That's it for the topic. I do want to summarize that I still feel that player power in X situation is the problem with Warframe.
I agree. I feel that not being able to identify any point in time how powerful a player is, it's too detrimental. Yeah. Cool.
Do you want to come up with any solution to that, though?
Oh God, how would I solve this? I think realistically, everything needs a squish. Like, the damage numbers need a massive squish.
It could help.
You know, and then, like, you can rejigger the enemies and things. But I think you'll just eventually get into this again. Or alternatively, it's tough shit, you know? You've got these, CC immune enemies and bosses and things because you want your power fantasy. Because, was it the second reply said, you just can't... No, was it second? We're stuck at an impasse.
Yeah.
Because
players go batshit with even the slightest nerf occurs, so we're stuck at an impasse, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I feel things they could do?
Go on.
Right, I like your idea of squishing everything, but this is what I think they should do, is they're giving all these things to us as players, but they're optional. I was quite surprised when they did. The only time they've ever done this is for, is it sorties? You have to have a max rank Warframe.
Yeah.
Right. Let's come. I'm gonna pitch an idea of sorties rank 2. Right. To enter a sorties rank 2 mission, you have to have 2 arcanes equipped, max rank all gear, maxed at least the focus tree. Yeah, the focus tree you're using has to be maxed. You have to have a riven on every weapon. I've said arcanes, and you have to have a necromech. The game will not let you enter unless you have these things.
Yeah.
Because they have put so much in the game now, which is optional. They can't. But I mean, this is why I was quite surprised when they started making arc guns. They were going to be like with Profit Taker. I thought that was it. Arc guns are going to be our anti-boss gun. So bosses from now on are going to have a phase. It's not always going to be shoot the boss, but let's say you fight on the Kuva Fortress and there's a new boss on there, and to destroy some gas tanks above it that will leak acid on the bus, you have to shoot those with your arc gun. So you're always going to need your arc gun for bosses, and they demand you take your arc gun. And then they gave up on that concept, and Exploited just didn't use the arc gun at all. They're going to have to make it that they know that a player is bringing these elements into the game, so they can go, you have to use this, you have to use this, you have to use this. Instead, they kind of want to make it, because they want to make it for everyone and not exclude anyone. It means they have no idea what someone is bringing in, and it only confuses people, and in the long term will just disenfranchise people. But when, let's say with World of Warcraft or something, a MMO, you have to have this, then you have this, then you have this. You can't get into the next tier of the dungeon until your item level is a certain point. Right, I have a goal to work towards. Once I get there, I can then go into the next tier of dungeon, or I can do the next raid. If they made it that you have to do you have to max out your focus tree, you have to get your necromech sorted. That's a goal. I can't do that content. I go necromech, and then when you're in that mission, they know you've got a necromech, so they can go, yes, so we can make it so that this mob needs necromech to deal damage because we know they've brought the necromech. They don't have that. They just keep putting out more content and just expecting, but doesn't know, what does the player have,
Too much.
Like I say, riven. Every player has to bring a riven. So it could be that, they bring rubbish rivens, right? But at least we know they're equipping and bringing rivens, and they're considering that as a damage thing.
Too much horizontal progression.
No, it's too much.
No, it is. It's
not horizontal.
No. They have designed it so that you can do anything at any point, right? Instead of actually going vertical progression, where you have to have a riven.
Oh yes, I see you are. Yes, yes, you are right. Yeah, horizontal. Yeah. So so instead of going up in stages to get to the next plateau of where you need to go, so it's you're right. It's just horizontal progression, and anything they add doesn't actually. It's not because it's not mandatory. You don't have to progress in that direction. It's a good point. I still haven't finished maxing even one focus tree. The game never makes me want to. No, the game never encourages me to do it.
Yeah.
So do I need to do it? But that's a power thing for the game.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Shall we progress forward?
Yeah, fine. That's an hour of moaning. Let's move on.
So that's it for the topic. Tell us if we got it horrendously wrong. And
yeah, please do. I mean, I'm happy to take. You guys are too disconnected from Warframe these days. And you don't know anything, please let us know.
And we shall now move on to the graphs.
Seriously, even call us idiots. I don't mind. I take it all as constructive criticism. No,
you got it now.
You move on.
Okay,
go.
So graphs for this week. Our first graph of the week. That's not the graphs. Where's the graphs? No, that's still not the graphs. Oh shit, where did I put them? There's the graphs. Woof.
Just good.
No. I can't see them.
Oh wow.
Right. So our first graph, I turned around and asked everyone, what is their who is the best boss fight? I put every boss in there, not any of the mini bosses. I even put Nihil in there and things like that. We got a lot of 1 votes across the board, but the majority of 30. So with 8%, we have Tilragor, Profit Taker, and the Ropadopa list. At 12%, we have the Zealoid Prelate. Right?
Fight involved. I can't remember what that fight was about.
Oh, you get the little lanterns.
Lantern.
Yeah. And then that was a good one, right? But then at 35%, we have the Exploiter Orb, which is, I think we could safely say now, categorically, the best boss fight in Warframe now. So, that's great. And then I proceeded to ask everyone why.
Sorry, just to step in. If you were to do a graph, don't do one. But let's say if you asked me a graph of which boss fight would you like to fight right now, or would you do again 10 times, it would be Exploiter for me.
Yeah, totally.
It's just the best.
Yeah, totally. Right. So the second graph, I asked, why are they the best boss fight?
Yeah.
So 4% said they're the fastest to complete. 8% said they have the most interesting lore. 24% was other. There was like lots of different responses from the community. And then 64% said they are the most engaging fight.
Yes. I love the term engaging. It's very true. Yeah, the way you interact with the boss and the other mobs and what the other mobs drop, it was just so good.
So I think engaging fights is what our community certainly wants to see.
Yeah.
Right. So
next one, Xeno, who does not understand Horizons.
Screw you. Right. The next one. Did you have issues understanding Nihil? 38% said yes, and 71% said no.
100% said Xeno, stop sucking at Horizons.
No, this was the audio.
Oh, is it the audio? Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, understanding Nihil. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Somebody in the comments did say that they didn't feel the voice effect was that bad, but it was just more that you had to fight while doing it. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. What's the next one?
And then the next one is graph number 4. Yep. Should you be able to skip the narrative going straight to 5? Right. So this is obviously chapter 5 of the Nightwave.
5, yeah.
Yeah. 19% said yes, 27% said that they didn't care, and 54% said no. So, glad to see that.
I love that the numbers you read out don't match the one on Discord.
Well, I'm sorry people always seem to vote while we're recording.
And that's literally he gets these images just before we do the recording. So that literally is in the space of an hour someone has voted. So always good to see, but poor Xeno always gets it wrong. Anyway, let's move on.
Right. And then the last one is...
Screw you, everyone.
Right. How do you feel about Nihil's long arm? 31 said it shouldn't be the same as Ballas, and 69% said it makes sense for them to all be the same. So what do you just say, Loz? Was it, sorry, did you say
screw you, everyone?
Screw you, everyone?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that they're like, oh, we're going to give Ballas a long arm, make him look really unique and everything. And they're like, oh, we need to make more Orokin. Orokin have long arm now. It's like, no, that's just stupid. Does the Queen have a long arm? No. Oh, but then she's not in an Orokin body. She's in a Grineer. No, but now she wanted to transfer herself into a Yuvan, which was you, and you were the perfect body for it, and you were that sort of thing. So do they extend the arm as a later thing?
We don't know if Yuvan actually was a person or an event. So the Yuvan could have been the receptacle, or it could have been the celebration of I'm getting my transference.
The transference, yeah.
But
really still, it doesn't matter that you would have possibly been a candidate of this in the past.
Yeah,
because that's what.
Wasn't that what the chamber was for? There was one of the chambers in the
chamber was to parade possible candidates in front of the Orokin who were looking to buy their transference for their new bodies. Right, and you were alive back then, and it was kind of like almost implying that you could have done this journey. This could have been you. You don't have one long arm or the other, so why did the Orokin? See, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just so stupid. So it must be a cosmetic thing done later. You see?
Yeah,
because the Orokin literally transfer themselves into new bodies.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I don't understand how, like, why would one arm being longer be, because they're supposed to be like the picture of perfection in terms of the human race.
Yeah.
So why is one long arm perfection? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Is it so you can hold like a barrel of coffee in one hand?
But
Like,
it kind of made sense that maybe they would do that kind of augmentation to themselves and have like one, they were so decadent that they would do these kind of things, that they would be like, oh, I'm going to extend the length of my arm, I'm going to turn my skin blue. And that's what, and Ballast was just like a great example of just like the pinnacle of opulence for them. And if that some of them had long arms and some of them didn't, some of them weren't blue, some of them were blue, it made sense. But like the Grenier Queen isn't blue, so why is Ballast blue? Why are the families sort of blue?
I think the fact
it
that the
must be
families,
cosmetic thing done later.
I think the fact that the family's blue as well is what really throws me for a loop.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
like,
Ballast was clearly intended to be a unique, pure, top of the pinnacle, as I say, Orokin. And like, yeah, he has all these crazy things done to him, but that doesn't mean everyone does. But he is just the example of it. And then they went, oh, they're all like that because he's like that. It's like, no, it should have been the other way around. He should have been the unique one.
yeah. Anyway, so yep, that's it for the graphs. And now we're going to move on to, as I said before, I completely botched up and forgot to do the supporter question. So moving on to the community responses. You want to take the time?
No. Yeah, done.
Yeah, I love how you got that wrong.
Oh, what? I put it on supporter questions.
Yeah, that's fine. I got
which
it.
you didn't do.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, there's not that much in community responses this time, I'm afraid. So I've just got a few. Thanks very much for anyone who does reply. I do read all of them, though I don't feel all of them are justable to bring up. But anyway. In fact, we've got one here from JJ24. How do you feel about Nihil's long arm? It shouldn't be the same as Balos. Albrecht Antrati doesn't have a long arm in his statuses and silhouettes. I don't know if it's a rank thing, but it doesn't make sense why. Grandmother doesn't have a long arm. Oh, doesn't she? She just has a really big hand. It's hard to tell if the Entrati are exceptions to the long arm rule due to them being infested, and the only other Orikins so far, minus Ballas and Nihil. Like,
wait,
Nihil, yeah.
Doesn't Grandmother have?
I don't know.
I thought I could have sworn she did.
We'll have to look at that. Well, JJ24 says doesn't. But yeah, Nihil and Ballas, I think, are in their purest form. It's hard to say with a family because they're that, but it just feels so weird. Albrecht Entrati doesn't have a long arm.
Well, we don't know that because we only see like the concept art stuff that's on the. We don't see like a model, and that was recorded before the Entrati family, like their name was on the map kind of thing. Because these were recordings that he made prior to. Was it recordings prior to the event of him going through the glass? Sorry, going through the door with the bell jar. Because I know the last one would have been him gone through. I can't remember. Because I swear I remember him saying like, if I don't sort this, if I don't figure this out, we'll die out.
Yes, yeah, he does actually.
So,
but what was that to do about resources in the solar system?
Yeah. So basically, if he doesn't work out how to travel through the void, right, then the Orokin Empire will die out due to a lack of resources, right?
Yeah.
So, off of that, you can determine that when that was recorded, it was present day. Yeah, it wasn't sort of like a memoirs thing after he had done all of the events. Yeah. So he may not have had the arm augmentation, so to speak, like having a tattoo, ears pierced, or doing some weird ear holes thing. Anyone that has ear holes, good for you. I won't do it. But so, he could have it afterwards as a symbol of status. Next.
Right, the only one I want to bring up was quite a long one from Trex Paddock. Talking about the Nightwave and the sleuth missions and how much. Here's an example of a better way of bringing them all together, because you could just do number 5.
Yeah.
What did 1 to 4 really bring? Okay, so the sleuth missions were an opportunity for things to lead to other bigger things. Mission 1, we find the MacGuffin. We may or may not have an idea what it's for. That may or may not be incorrect to some degree. By way of example, and to fit the theme, let's make it some sort of radio signal receiver. For bonus points, it could be a visual item that takes the place of any, say, a shoulder armor and only functions when we are wearing it. Mission 2. We upgrade, repair, restore the MacGuffin, so now it does something more or better. Increase the range, signal is clearer, maybe a slight change to the shoulder plate for more cool points. Mission 3. New function of the MacGuffin, i.e. extra damage to glass enemies or higher crit chance. Perhaps we get a second shoulder piece that is in the unfinished state, and the first one was when we got it. Mission 4. The MacGuffin is now complete / fully fixed. Maybe damage reduction from attacks by... Sorry if I'm pushing the thing. I'm just trying to get the pushing the VR helmet to my headset so I can keep everything in perfect focus.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if it looks weird. Where was that? Sorry. Mission 4. MacGuffin is now complete, fully fixed. Maybe damage reduction from attacks by... damage reduction from attacks by glass dudes or a different damage / attack buff. Mission 5. We learn how to activate the MacGuffin to open a portal to get to... or find how to get to, or find who to get to the boss fight. During the boss fight, the MacGuffin use up all their energy or mojo or whatever, and after the fight become just some fancy looking shoulder armor that you can now recolor if you like, and is yours to keep just for taking part. Perhaps the clue item we find in the missions are the pieces to make the MacGuffins and or tools to restore its function. Even if only for just one last fight against the big bag to settle the score once and for all. And yes, the shoulder bits I had in my brain were the ones that were a Nightwave prize. However, it would not have to be them in particular. So I much like this because it's focusing the narrative and progressing the story. And I think the idea of the signal would be better if we found like some part of the Hills message or whatever, and we were taking that and you know, using it and expanding it and adding to it to try and find out where he was from. I really like this idea. What do you think?
I do like it, but I wouldn't want every single one to be the same.
No.
I kind of like the idea of you find, you know, God, like I don't know. I've recently had this weird obsession with Stargate SG-1. Like I'd love to watch Stargate SG-1 again, but the cool thing about SG-1 was the fact that they had like this list of possible addresses they could go to, and they were just exploring. One thing we could do is we could have a sort of, oh god, what's the name of the sabotage void gates, right? First off, upgrade those to be like the portal system for name of the ESO, right? Because the ESO can take you to like any location. Yeah? Any tile set?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, cool, right. Sorry, I can't get any facial expression from a deadpan Excalibur face. I don't know if you're there or not. Right, so you have the Stargate.
Okay.
You have the Stargate, and all of a sudden it just turns on. And...
You know, you do go through a Stargate when doing Sanctuary Onslaught, right? At the start.
Is it?
Yeah, you load into that.
Apologies, I completely forgot that was a Stargate. Right, fine. So you know, a Stargate in the in the world somewhere, you find it and it's turned on, right? You go through it and you find some weird pattern, right? And you find out that like the Grineer or something have gone through this Stargate and they've stolen some technology or whatever, and you have to go through the star chart to find it and get it back off of them. And then you're putting it back together kind of thing. And that will lead to stage 2, where you change the destination of the Stargate to go to somewhere else and so on and so forth. I think that, again, that's a cool mechanic. The dioramas are really cool. The investigation dioramas. But I do feel that...
Investigation dioramas.
You know, when you're going around the actual location finding, oh, there's a floof there.
Diorama, right? Okay.
What?
A diorama to me would be how like they did it for the Wolf one, where there was like literally you push play and spout plot at you while there was a diorama on screen.
Fair.
You explore. You see, I wouldn't. I see what you mean by diorama, but I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, you're saying
so. Like going around that, you know, it's cool and everything, but it feels really detached. I think it would be really nice if the pieces that you find on the floor were actually out in the real world. So you could go and investigate the scene to see what has happened, maybe make it more of a diorama, seeing like, there's all these different things have happened. You got people scared, panicked that this one person in Cetus has been glassed, right? Make it more of a snapshot of events instead of actually having you go around picking up these 5 things and then go, right, this is what I need. I would like it if the picking up the 5 things was in the main game. Yeah?
I'm not really with you on that because it kind of is in the main game. They just took the camera and stuck it in your face.
No. The whole point is that it feels really isolated. It feels, right? You're going to hate me for this. It feels like a content island. I gave him a lot of shit for saying content island. It feels insulated from everything else. The fact that the investigation stuff is all within the bubble. The only thing that you're getting is the currency to go and take the multiple choice test.
That's exactly what Trex Paddock was suggesting.
What?
About making the thing linking in and out of it by having an item that you're expanding and developing, which has an effect in the world.
No, I was referring to the fact that you go find the things out in the world, then you come back to the diorama.
The thing when you say out in the world, it seems
running around
weird.
Shooting shit.
Unless you mean that you go into the diorama.
Yeah.
And you're first of all, the dioramas were great, but at the same time, they were. I see what you mean. I just want to go about the point you said about the snapshot, and I think you were good at point on that. Is that they were. I don't know how long it took them to make them, but in reality, all they did was use an existing map and they put a few points on it and then put like a little bit of text and a symbol on those things and then did a bit of randomization on which one spawned.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't actually. I see what you mean. Like we say with a snapshot, like if you literally had a snapshot, it was like a memory engram or whatever that you're in, and that you have people panicking and running away from a thing, and the thing is blurry, but it felt like an actual scene with people in. Instead, it was very. You say content island. It felt like island. I felt that it felt sterile. It didn't feel like you were investigating an actual area where a crime had happened.
Yeah,
you were literally picking up like the handful of items you could pick up. There was no items. Instead, it should let you click on loads of things, and some of them weren't important. Instead it was like, this is the important thing. This is the important thing. And it didn't feel like you were investigating a room that, there was no damage to the room. There wasn't like, tables flung everywhere and like a big scorch mark after somebody had fired a weapon in the room kind of thing. They literally just copy pasted their maps in.
It's very much a case of, what's the point and click adventures where everything you pick up in a point and click adventure is usable for something else. Yeah. Right.
But also the world was just copy paste. They didn't make anything special with the world. They didn't make the Cetus with like all the stalls knocked over as if it had been like a rampage through it or anything. So I can appreciate on that. But then if you mean by the real world, this is how I would appreciate the real world. That you find an item in there that says like, that they were clear. You're like, oh, the person, you see the dead victim or whatever, or frozen, and they're like, you see them reaching under a table. So you look under the table and you find that it says, the item is stored in storage pod 72A in this place. It's like, aha, that corresponds to a place on the Valis. And then you have to go to one of the facilities, the starport on Valis, and find the container.
Yeah.
That's how I'd want it in the real world, so you can link them together. So that the things in the thing make you go do something in the world. I wouldn't want the actual things. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's the sort of thing I'm referring to. Right. Yeah. Or if you really wanted to dumb it down because players didn't like that, the only difference I would make it is, you had to go to, like, you have to kill thralls to get murmurs for your lich. You have to go to Apolodronus, kill the Grineer there. One of them is going to have the key card to open up the locker in the diorama, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, exactly. Yeah.
If you want to,
it's a snapshot, so it's a bit hard for you to open something in a fixed point in time.
Well, you can fucking pick up shit and like move it around and fucking hologram all that bollocks.
Yeah, because it was information stored within the one fixed point in time.
Yeah, but
you didn't ever interact
information
with
in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, but you didn't ever go away, find a key card, and open a box.
I get that, but it's. I mean, you can fucking oh no, this is newfangled bullshit technology. This is a magical MacGuffin. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Well, if you went into the like fixed point in time, it told you to find a key card. You then went to the key card, and then you don't go back to the fixed point in time, but you went back to the same area. Let's say like in Cetus. Of you went and found the container that was alluded to in the fixed point in time, but you can't go back into the
yeah. That works just as well. Yeah,
looks better. It actually makes sense.
Sorry. Well, yeah. Okay, fine. It works. But well, to be fair, I would rather actually have you got the snapshot, and then you have to go to Cetus to actually see the crime scene as well. But
well, but then. Yeah. I think we're pretty close to something. Yeah, exactly. But I know this would take more time, and we do try and appreciate the fact is that we can't say like, oh yeah, they should do all these amazing things in the game, and we are aware that these things take development dev time.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe that what took so long to make it how long does it take one of them to make one of those Nightwave things?
No, I
imagine the writing for the longest time.
No, I genuinely think that they staggered it because they're like, right, we're gonna have this done and dusted by December. We need to stretch this out till December 2020. We're starting it in March? May? I don't know, one of the months. Oh wait, no, I think it was like May, June, something like that. We're starting it then, but it's got to last till December. So they're not working on it continuously. They don't got like one poor person like modeling everything to the finite detail. I think it's just a case of, right, we got 1 week to get this done in, right, done, ship it out, and then not do anything for the next like 2 months. Right?
Maybe on 1 to 4. I can imagine 5 took a little bit of a hit because they had to make Nihil and things like that.
Well, they had to
on 1 to 4. 1 to 4, I don't think I have anything unique to them apart from the randomization and the text in the actual items.
Oh god. One.
Anyway.
Yes. No, you're right.
Yeah, but yeah. So we just want to say that it would be cool to do these things that would take more time, but then who knows? Anyway. Right, should we move on to memes?
Yes. This is what we do. That's why everyone's really here. They're here for the memes.
Well, I'm sorry to say, I was a bit disappointed with the memes this week.
Are you really?
Yeah. Slim pickings on the meme front. Meme farmers and clearly not working that hard. Why isn't this? There we
go. Wait, where's you? There's you.
Yeah, I'll do.
Have you typed it?
Right. No, because you typed the memes.
Fine.
I'm clicking.
No, I'm just double checking, aren't I?
So I was moving my windows around. So
see, that's the problem. I thought you were typing in the memes because you're like they're the sounds you make when you type, Loz. Got to make sure that we're on the same page, whether or not you're typing the memes or not. And it's a mistake, a crisis averted. Right, moving on. First meme. First meme. Come on.
Okay, so first one. He's fucking annoying. In kindness, there is evil. Yin. In evil, there is kindness. Yang. Balance.
Sark Industries.
Seal of quality puts it together. And then there's him.
Which is just a black hole.
Oh, is this where they got the bloody long arm thing from? Oh, ancients have a long arm. Better give all the Orokin long arm.
Oh my god, can you just imagine?
Probably. But anyway, everyone hates being pulled over by that guy.
Really? Like, I always hate the scorpions the most. Scorpions give me that traumatic effect.
Yeah.
Fucking scorpions.
Right. Meme number 2. Sabotage missions be like, Lotus says, the reactor is a complex system. The reactor. Press F to hack! Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. So it's believable. I need to move that because that's getting in the way. Right. Click these tabs. Tab clicking is hard. Meme number 3.
What the fuck?
Capture missions be like, again, Lotus. The target needs to be brought back alive. Tenno. Captures the target at near-death condition. The target. Very upset looking man. I wish I knew who this man's name is because his face is priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Meme number 4. That's how endgame works. So first we have 3 people saluting. First guy who does endurance runs. Second person, guy who does endurance runs on Steel Path. Third person, guy who does endurance runs on Steel Path solo. And all of them are saluting guy who mastered fashion frame with only smoke palette.
Oh my god!
He's the true endgame Sar.
Oh my god.
Meme number 5. I forgot how horrible it is to think of titles. Okay. Mesa's regulators being like...
What the fuck? Oh my god. Finger guns.
Yep. And then finally, meme number 6 for Xeno. This Cheeto is shaped like a Tonkor.
Yes! This has pleased me.
I thought it was very low picks these weeks, the memes. So
I know,
like, okay,
I quite like
we're
it with
ending on
these.
this one.
Huh?
This Cheeto
Yep.
is shaped like a Tonkor.
Yes!
Your argument is invalid. This Cheeto is shaped like a Tonkor. Right.
Right.
So
that's it for the memes. It's just like the video footage is happening. Okay, cool. Apparently, I just decided to stand completely still for the longest time. Right, so community shoutouts. I need to scroll down. Yep. Right, so first community shoutout is Corpus OC by Where Lectro.
Heyo, this is my Corpus OC. She has no name yet. She is one of the upper class folks. I mean, technically, they all are. I like her.
Yep.
I love this helmet. That helmet is amazing.
Yep, that helmet is boss.
Yep.
How boss is that helmet, Loz?
Like, why? This is... I want to know this person's name. Why isn't this person a boss? Why isn't this some sort of... Could you imagine this as a sort of a female antagonist to Alad V that looks as... I mean, what did he want to do? He wants to get
money.
He chooses, like, he will choose anything for power. Let's say she is this lady. I'm just going to random story. She sees proxies as only proxies. She'll only ever build proxies. She thinks proxies can be made to perfection, and not like Zanuka. It's like, no, warframes are waste. They need to be perfected entirely through normal technology or something. And and every time she's building better proxies, just cool. Yeah, I don't know. Or she believes in AI and she keeps generating AI. Just to be so cool. Hello, why stop saying right? Next meme.
Not meme. It's not
meme. Yeah, I'm sorry. They're not memes, are they?
Community
They're like
shoutouts.
Right.
Shoutouts. So the second community shoutout is Oberon by Madlux. This is freaking amazing.
When I heard about Oberon, I thought of a guardian who belongs to the woods. Maybe not my first choice warframe, but definitely worthy to have.
Yep.
Love the detail.
Yep.
I'm not. But what about the things in the background? Is that when he used to have his Disney princess aura?
Well, I mean, he's still a princess. He's allowed.
Okay.
Cool.
The artwork is amazing on that one.
Yep. The third community shout out.
Actually, I do want to give points that how dark and grim it is. Sorry,
yes.
I really should. It is. Yes. I love the atmosphere.
Yes. Anyway, the third community shout out is Ivara by Chicken Draws Dogs. So this
mission working.
Yep.
Feeling as thin and stretched as butter scraped over too much bread, so I decided to skip work and do some exploration. No rules, no worries, and no money. Please tell me I've found something.
Yeah,
you found amazing artwork.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
Right. I think it's lovely.
Did I say lovely? I said no.
The fourth community shout out is Nahil the Glassmaker by Archer. Speaking about Captain Elongated Arm. He really likes the picture, though.
The picture is beautiful. It really is. I love the tone of it.
But how do you feel about the arm?
Okay.
You're right there.
No.
Right. The fifth community shout out is Infested Wisp by Cleo Natarin.
Could you imagine? This is what the Acolyte should be. If after we get rid of sentients, let's say, get rid of the ancients, whatever, and then what happens is the infestation infests one copy of each warframe, and they become a cabal of infestation warframes trying to evolve the infestation.
Yeah.
And each one has a name and a character and a persona. Oh, I mean, and then this is the wisp. Just look at it.
Yeah, I'm totally on board for that.
Yeah.
The
dark, so grim. Sorry.
The 6th community shout out, not something that we normally go for, is I believe this is a captura of it's called Checkpoint by Architecture of Dreams. And
Checkpoint. I really love how this turned out. I was going for a camp idea originally, but turned out to be a battlefield LMAO. Yeah, I want bigger.
Make it bigger then. I think this is Captura, but at the same time, it's like kind of hard to tell.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty damn awesome. So, yep.
I just, there's so much you could take from this. This is this kind of feel of what Warframe used to have with the dark, oppressive atmosphere. I mean, you're just massacring those Grineer like they don't care. I love I don't know what gun that person at the front has.
Isn't
just
that the Bratton Prime?
No, at the front. I meant at the front of the group, on the right-hand side, that's pointing down and shooting someone on the floor.
Oh, hold on. Let me open it myself. That is one of the new Deimos guns.
Ah, is it? I always love that. It's just no care, and that Oh, and I just spotted that this on the far left, you've got the really close up as if somebody's running, and you just got part of their silhouette. Plus, the Baton Prime is one of my favorite guns. Useless as it is. So good though. Look at that.
Are those all Excaliburs?
And is that Excalibur?
I think that's an Excalibur alt helmet. It's really hard to tell because the Nova's the thing in the front, so the focal point.
Yeah.
But I think those are Excaliburs because that's an Excalibur Deluxe, that with the big gun blowing something up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the other ones are because I don't think that's.
I think those are Tenogen helmets.
Yeah,
it's really hard to tell.
Tenogen very well, yeah. Still, it's just so good.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I love the oppressive feel of it. I mean, it's almost like a city in the background. It just looks like they're exterminating them with no care, just heartless.
Right.
And it's almost like I love to think that it's almost like you're a Grineer who's fallen over, and the Nova's just noticed you're not dead.
Yep.
Just like so good.
Right. So that's it for the community shoutouts.
Yep.
Loz, you didn't take the time with the community shoutouts.
I can't.
Why not?
I have to get them up.
Typical Loz. Right, I'll work it out later. Right, so now we're going to do the...
I never do the memes or the community shoutouts.
You do occasionally.
No, maybe occasionally, but most of the time I just do the main thing. Then when we get to this point, it's like, that's my job done. Because I'm just like, it's too much effort opening windows and things.
Yeah, it's fine. Right, so now we're going to do the quote.
Tabs.
Right, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. 6 weeks ago, I was an Ostron and pathetic, just like you. Who am I now? I'm a wall meat farmer, a stalker, just another tool who was mind-controlled into killing his father. I'm all of these, and I'm none of these. Who am I now? This is not me fulfilling my destiny too. This is not me... this is not me. Yeah, this is not me falling into my father's footsteps. This is definitely not me saving the solar system. That should have been Origin System. Imagine I said Origin System.
What? What is this?
You want me to do it again?
Yeah.
6 weeks ago, I was an Ostron and pathetic, just like you. Who am I now? I'm a wall meat farmer. I'm a stalker. Just another tool that was mind-controlled into killing his father.
Wall meat farmer?
Yeah, wall meat farmer. Ostrons.
Stalker?
Yeah. I'm all of these, and I'm none of these. Who am I now? This is not me fulfilling my destiny too. This is not me falling into my father's footsteps. This is definitely not me saving the Origin system.
When you say Destiny 2, do you mean Destiny 2 the game, or are you saying there's not me fulfilling my Destiny 2?
The former.
Destiny 2 the game.
Yeah. The original quote is Destiny. I wanted to put 2 on the end.
That makes no sense. So, what is it, an old film or a new film?
I want to say new.
Not V for Vendetta, is it?
Nope.
No.
That would make more sense.
All these things. None of these things.
Oops, that's not how you spell the film. It's a new film. Post 2000. 2008.
Is it a superhero film?
No.
Spy film?
No.
War film?
No.
What's the genre?
Action, crime, thriller.
But not spy.
No, not spy.
The police people.
No.
What is this?
They're kind of the criminals.
Like Ocean's 11 or something.
Nope.
They're kind of the criminals. What could it be?
I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it and I didn't particularly like it. I thought it was like, well, that was a waste of God knows how many minutes of my life.
No, I'm lost on this. What is it?
Wanted.
Wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, with Angelina Jolie and the
James McAvoy, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. So what was the actual quote?
Oh God. I'm ordinary, I'm pathetic. I'm sorry, just like you. Who am I now? I'm an accountant, I'm an assassin. Just another tool in the box that was mind fucked into killing his father. I'm all of these, I'm none of these. Who am I now? This is not me fulfilling my destiny. This is not me falling into my father's footsteps. This is definitely not me saving the world.
I think doing Meat Farmer and Stalker were just too far apart. It just was weird. Just
Well,
very
accountant
weird.
and an assassin?
Yeah. Stalker's not an assassin. He's got more connotations than just an assassin.
Okay, but what would you...
Like, if you said Acolyte would have been better.
Oh, damn, Acolyte would have been better.
Because it's more just kind of not specific. Like, Stalker is a person who's specific.
Yeah.
Acolyte would have been better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. But still had the connotations of, like, assassin thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. No, I get you. You tried, but I also didn't like the Destiny 2 thing. That was just silly. It threw me off when I'm like, video games? Is it about video games?
I was like, is this going to completely derail him? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally did.
Totally derailed you.
Yep.
Oh, well. Well, that's it for this week. Episode 369. I'm going to go to 370 next week, which will have a supporter guest. I need to pull my thumb out and get that sorted out. And yeah, we will see you lovelies next time, won't we, Loz?
Thumb.
They can't see you.
Oh, but my thumb. Thumb.